I'm Richard from Electric Classic Cars, and on this week's episode it's all about the VW Beetle, or more specifically what's behind the VW Beetle. That is our bolt-in electric conversion kit. Now, believe it or not, this was the first ever car I ever had. Back in 1990, when I was 17 and things were still in black and white, I got this lovely looking 1969 VW Beetle and used it as my daily driver. And then 5 years later, in 1995, I did my first conversion work on it, if you like, converting it to a different engine. Back then it was a petrol engine, obviously, but it was out of a Porsche 914 2-litre I put in the back of it. And I also, if you've not noticed already, did a little bit of modification, roof chopped it, de-pillared it. So modifying classic cars is not new to me. Fast forward to 2015 and I converted my first ever car to electric. And it was also electric, so it was also a Beetle, not this one. It was a lovely 1965 Beetle. But since 2015 to 2025, 10 years we've been doing this now, I've converted a fair few Beetles to electric since then. Now, it's fair to say I know my VWs, my old school Volkswagen Beetles, buses. I've been into them since year dot, and we've converted a fair few of them here at the workshop as well. Everything from an oval, which is 1950s Beetle, right the way up to late 70s 1303Ss, like my silver Beetle, for instance, where the suspension and the whole front end is completely different to a normal Beetle. And our bolt-in electric conversion kit over there has all that experience in, which means you can use it to convert a 1303 to a 70s Beetle like this, a 60s Beetle, and all the different variations in between. And I'll show you how we've managed to do that now. Now, I've got our latest Beetle kit on the test rig here. And this test rig is where we put all of our kits from 911, Land Rover, Beetle kits, for instance. We put it on the test rig, we confirm everything works, the battery systems, the wiring, the motor spins up, forward, reverse, charging, etc. So it's where we simulate, the conditions of its use in a car, but in a test rig scenario. So I've got one on the rig here. I'm going to spin it up for you later. But before I start, a lot has happened in the 10 years we've been converting cars, stroke VW Beetles, to electric. For instance, the first VW Beetle was, I think it was 22 kilowatt hour battery pack. It had a HPEV's AC34 motor, I think it was, married to the original gearbox. And then we evolved to net gain Hyper 9 motors onto gearboxes. But around about 5 years ago, we realized there's limitations of that type of system, not just because of the original gearbox might break. It's not really designed for, well, it's designed for a 40 horsepower engine, and we were putting in probably 4-5 times more torque motors in there, so gearbox were a weak link. But the main problem was the voltage. Now, a Hyper 9 is around about 120 volts. You can get one that's slightly higher, 144, but it's not high enough voltage to be able to have rapid charging. And rapid charging is the game changer for electric conversions, because then you can use them as a daily driver, like I do. Now, technology's really moved on in those 10 years we've been converting Beetles. That first Beetle we converted, as I say, it was 22 kilowatt hours. The charger that was in it was around about 2.4 kilowatts, which essentially means you can charge up in 12 hours, so kind of overnight charging, and you'd only get a range of around about 100 miles. But now, where battery energy density is, we've managed to nigh on double the battery capacity to around about 42 kilowatt hours, which means a range of around about, say, 180 miles. But the charging speed, now we've gone to a 400 volt system, is now at 100 kilowatts. So 100 kilowatts charging speed versus the original 2.5 kilowatts. Now, what does that mean practically? Well, now you can drive a Beetle for 150 miles, whatever, and then stop for about half an hour, charge up, toilet break, halfway through your burger, and then you're good to go. So now we have a really practical daily driver type solution for the VW Beetle. Right, time to give you a little bit of a tour around this bolt-in electric conversion kit for the VW Beetle. So we've got three main components. We've got the battery pack, so this rear battery pack here, that sits kind of in there behind the back seats. Then you've got the front battery pack here, that sits in there where the original fuel tank used to be. And then you've got the motor down there, and that bolts in where the original engine and gearbox used to bolt in down there. And those are the three main components, and we'll go through high voltage and low voltage looms in a minute. Right, let's get into some of the details here. So front battery pack actually sits on a mounting frame. Now, why didn't we just bolt the battery pack directly into the car? Well, it's because of something I mentioned earlier, which is a number of different versions of Beetles over the years. So what we have is we have a standardized Beetle, standardized battery box here, but the frame actually that it mounts on and sits on changes depending if it's a early 60s Beetle, a late 70s Beetle, a 1303 with the McPherson struts, etc. So that's the bit that changes. This stays standard. So this is, I'd say, about 40% of the batteries in the front. Underneath is the DC to DC converter. Yep, that's all that's underneath there. And then the rear battery pack, we've got probably around about 60% of the batteries in the rear. Underneath that sits the heater, because obviously the air-cooled Beetle used to push hot air over the exhaust heat exchangers through the heater channels to the car itself. We lose that when we convert it to electric. So there's an electric heater underneath there, and also the charger sits underneath there as well. And then underneath everything, which is, I'll show you where this goes in a minute, sits the motor. We've got a Tesla small drive unit there. Plenty of power for a Beetle, and also a junction box, high voltage junction box, and the radiators. Now you're probably thinking, why do you need radiators in an electric car? Well, you need radiators for two things: to cool the batteries down, because don't forget we're rapid charging them, and anytime you're putting a lot of electricity into a battery or taking it out very quickly, you need to cool that battery down. So we have a radiator for the batteries, but we also have a radiator for the motor and inverter, and all that sits on one cradle that just bolts in to the original bolting mounts in the chassis or the floor pan of the Beetle. Now, as with all our bolt-in electric conversion kits, their low voltage and high voltage loom is already pre-made. The length is all right, the connectors are all on there, and it's no different with this one. So down here we have our low voltage distribution boxes and fuse boards and relays, and that sits underneath the back seat where the original 12-volt battery used to be, and there's also a 12-volt battery in there, believe it or not. And on the other side, underneath the back seat, sits the high voltage distribution box. So you've got high voltage on one side and low voltage on the other. Now you're probably wondering, how do we get the high voltage from the front battery pack here to the rear battery pack and the motor down there? Well, the answer is on the floor down here. This is the high voltage loom, and this travels nice and safely protected within the center spine of the floor pan. And at the front of the floor pan over here is an inspection hatch, and that is where our 3D printed cable management plate goes, holds all the cables in place, and then this goes up to the front battery. And then at the rear we've got things like this, for instance. If Tim can zoom in on that, that is a 3D printed cable management loom plate again, that fits into where normally the front gearbox goes in and your shifter rod comes out, and then your cables obviously go in there. So that's how we get the high voltage through the car. It's nice and safe. It's not underneath or inside. It goes through the center spine of the floor pan. Right, enough talking about the kit. It's time to fire it up. My favorite time. Right, in goes the service disconnect. So put that in there. Now, around the other side, let's take it for a spin. Right, now sitting in the pilot seat. So in front of me here now is the control system for our test bed, and you probably notice some of these dial holes here are empties because this is our generic test bed for things like 911s, Land Rover Defenders. So some of the things here are redundant for a Beetle kit, because for a Beetle kit all the instrumentation we need is all in this thing here. Now this bolts into where the existing shifter used to be. So existing shifter, take that out because we don't need it anymore, there's no gearbox, and in goes this here, which has your direction switch, your heater controls, and all the information regarding the BMS and state of charge. So that is what I'm going to be using today. Apart from over here, I have my ignition, accelerator pedal down there, and my brake over here. So, time to switch it on. So, on goes the ignition. So those are the contactors kicking in. So now everything is live. My instrumentation here is also live, so my battery management system is up and running. My reverse, neutral and drive is live, so I can put my foot on the brake, because to put it into drive or reverse you have to have your foot on the brake. So foot on the brake, put it into D for drive, and hopefully if I put my foot on the accelerator gently, we should get some spinach. So down there we go, motor spins, right? Okay, we'll put it into reverse, just make sure it goes into reverse, so neutral, reverse, try it again. There we go, we have spinach. Now it's also worth mentioning there's some lights over here which I'm keeping an eye on as well. For instance, we've got a fault light that normally goes on a Beetle, that's wired into the red light that used to be the old generator light. So got a red light there for fault. You've also got a reverse light and brake light. These are just indicators for me to verify that the signal to put the reverse lights on, if it has a reverse lights, because a lot of old Beetles didn't have reverse lights, that's just to signify that the signal for reverse lights is live, and the same for the brake lights. So whenever you put your foot on the brake, like so, the brake lights come on, or the brake light signal comes on, but also when it's under regenerative braking, you'll also see that brake light come on. So for instance, to get the reverse light on, if I put it into reverse, there we go, so that would tell me the reverse lights are on. Now the next iteration of this, or alteration we need to do on our VW Beetle kit, is to turn it into a VW common gear kit, because we have the most important customer we've ever had in this workshop getting a common gear converted. She's my wife. So what I need to do now is we need to take this battery box here, lay it flat, change some of the mounting points, and then this rear battery box fits perfectly into the luggage space behind the back seat in the common gear. The front battery box is exactly the same, the loom and everything's exactly the same, and the mounts for the motor and all that's exactly the same. So small little alteration to make it fit into a common gear, to put a smile on our most important customer yet, the wife. So there we go, one bolt-in electric conversion kit for a VW Beetle, all ready to go. We're going to take this off the test bench tomorrow, crate it up and ship it out to a customer out in the US. Anybody that is interested in any of our electric conversion kits, from Fiat 500s to VW Beetles, Porsche 911s, Land Rovers, etc., please go to the link in the description. I'll put the contact details in there, but I do have to caveat the fact that we do not sell our bolt-in conversion kits to the general public, no DIY conversions. We only sell to electric conversion companies or workshops that are looking to move into electric conversions. So on that note, I think we're pretty much done in this episode. The guys need to start stripping this apart now and crating it up and shipping it to the US. So on that note, hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.